Welcome to DucBloke Tuning and Finding the Sweet Spot. Grab a cup of coffee and like and subscribe. Welcome back to DucBloke Tuning and Finding the Sweet Spot. Happy New Year! This video is going to be a straight shot. I'm not going to do any editing. You get to hear all my ums and so's and so forth because I have a party to go to in about an hour, and I want to get this out there to the community and thank a lot of people. So subscribers first, the PEQ feedback. We're going to go through the feedback that I've gotten on several of the IEMs. I appreciate all the feedback I get. You know, if you've contacted me, I am very fast to respond. And then the next one is the best reviewers of 2024. I'm going to talk about the friends I've made in the industry and the people that are very special to me, as well as the best brands. And some of those people are also very special to me over the last year. And then I'm going to talk about the top, my pick, the top IEM of 2024. And with that, I'd like to show you this cup. So my daughter and my daughter-in-law at Christmas had this cup made. It has my symbol on it, my DucBloke. What is DucBloke? Well, if you ever notice on the shoulder of my symbol, there is a Ducati D. I have had this same symbol for about over 20 years. And it's related to, I ride Ducati motorcycles. And I lived in Australia for 18 years, and a bloke is a guy. So Duck is for Ducati and Bloke is for guy. I am a Ducati guy. And with that, let's get stuck into the feedback. And these are in alphabetical order, so not any specific order with regards to the IEM's name. The alter ego. I got a feedback from a guy named Dixter. He said, just wanted you to know that your EQ worked wonderfully on the alter ego. Sometimes EQ can cause a stage to collapse. Your EQ didn't, and the stage is amazing. I was just watching your Power Amp YouTube video and noticed that you also have the LCD-XC21 EQ. Could I get the EQ for Wavelet or Power Amp if available? Now, this is a headphone EQ, so I wasn't able to send that out to him because it wasn't mine. I didn't make it. But that's the feedback on the alter ego. And if you have this IEM, contact me. I'm happy to send you the PEQs for this and to make it better. Next one, big praise. Released in 2024, the Camper CP622B. This is, and again, it's kind of brave doing EQs or PEQ settings for IEMs that cost this much. But here you go. Yes, I enjoy the Camper with the PEQ settings. My first thing to notice was, for example, Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing. The hi-hat in the song was first detailed high, and the settings, the hi-hat had more detail as in reality. The extra bass in the EQ is nice to hear, but the songs that I have all so different because of the age. Newer songs are very different recordings from the 80s and 90s. I also asked the engineer from Neutron Player to add the import function and said he will do it. So hopefully this is helping the community where people are realizing how good having EQ or the PEQ settings for different IEMs is going to expand functions within the software packages that are out there as well. So thank you very much, Andrew. Next one, the Fat Frequency HBB X Deuce. I've got a lot of feedback on that. There's 2 pages of it. So first is from Keith Lowe, and I watched your YouTube video. He was asking for the PEQ settings, and I wrote to him and said, "Yep, sure, here it is." And he said, "Thanks, Tim. I'm not a critical listener, and it does sound noticeably more enjoyable for me. Electric and bass guitars have more body, female vocals unaffected. Something sounds right while still, everything sounds right while still keeping the ridiculously fun amount of sub bass. I've watched a couple of your Sweet Spot videos. Can I pick your brain to understand how you came up with this various tuning targets that you EQ, for example?" Anyway, you can check out my videos on how I actually do this. I'm actually revealing this to everyone. So it is in there. Thank you, Kenneth, for your reply. And then we have Leon. I experienced with the HBB Deuce, used my Q-Deluxe 5K and adjusted the PEQs to match its frequency response to the Kiwi Ears HBB Punch with a few minor tweaks. The results were phenomenal, bypassing your EQ settings for the Deuce, which are already a huge improvement. Surpassing your EQ settings for the Deuce, which are already a huge improvement over the default out-of-the-box sound. I've uploaded the PEQ settings. Please give them a try. So this user would like me to try the Punch. He thinks it's an absolute banger. I look forward to getting my hands on the Punch, but he enjoyed the PEQ settings for the Deuce. Thank you very much, Leon. And next one is Guzman. Finally had a chance to try your EQ, and wow, they're amazing. Can't use the Deuce without these EQs now. Thanks heaps. Quick question though, and I won't get into the questions, but let's just keep moving through the comments. Pedro, he wrote, as I mentioned in the comments in the IEM ranking video, I'm particularly impressed with how the Deuce and the Q, the Civga Q, I also gave him the PEQs for that one, performed with your settings. With the Deuce being a big surprise here, it's a major improvement. The Hexa is my go-to IM for neutral-ish tuning, and perhaps due to the time I spend with it, I tend to prefer it without EQ. I'll keep testing it though. As far as Deuce and Q are concerned, however, I don't need any further listening sessions. The PEQ substantially improves them both. Thanks a lot, Pedro, for your feedback. Oz, I just got your Deuce, and wow, your EQ is way better than the standard EQ with Wavelet provides. It's making me think I don't need the IER Z1R, laugh out loud. You don't have an EQ for the Sony one. Anyway, he's asked for another EQ setting. But anyway, that's his feedback. He really likes it. And then Christopher, thank you. Man, these really clean up and polish all the high end. Thanks for what you are contributing to the community, and you're welcome, Christopher. Next, the EBC 80. Jeremy writes, wow, Tim, everything is jacked to one tier up with your EQ. Butterfly, and he did this for the Butterfly as well, the 61T, is still not doing it for me, but it did open up and made good bass being less spoiled by the rest of the frequency response. And then the Mega 5 EST became lively, but the star of the show is definitely the EBC 80. Absolutely killer. I just turned IMs like the S12 modded by, and I won't get into to all the rest of this, but you get the point. The EBC 80, he liked the PEQ settings. Thank you so much for your feedback, Jeremy. And then we have Angus. Oh man, this is awesome, and this is for the Fan 3. Thank you again. The first one I set is amazing. By the way, I set 4 PEQ settings out for this one. That I sent an array so that people could try different PEQs. And it was much wider and much fuller, except I had my gain at 7.2, not minus 7.2. Was thinking in my head that it's awesome, but quite loud. It would be if you added 7.2 instead of minusing 7.2 from your preamp gain. But happy you didn't blow your ears out, and I'm happy you love it. Next one, I believe came from Israel. I can't read Hebrew. Thanks. It sounds great. Exactly what I needed. The bass and vocals really pop out now. Amazing job. Consider me a fan. And then we have Damon Jackson wrote, brother, I put in all 3 of the Pen and Fan 3. The bass one, oh man. And then he put in brackets, said in Macho Man Randy Savage voice, thank you for what you do. And you're very welcome. Next one. Fan 3 again, and this one I put up a couple of things because there were, I've had a lot of back and forth with Yassine. I just tried the Fan 3 Bass 1 neutral treble, more bass than I would go for. I may tune it down a little bit, but definitely more fun and noticeably more holographic and spacious sounding, which I really like. Is that what you were going for? And then what I did was I wrote back to him and I added another version. I did a bass 2 version. So this had a little bit less bass. I tuned it down for him and made it meet his requirements. So, and then the next thing he wrote, I would also add, in making it more holographic, I feel like the sonic effects of the bone conduction driver in the mids and highs are slightly more obvious. So originally it seemed a little masked compared to this tuning. So that's the general feeling most people are getting, is that my tunings are opening up and more revealing, like bringing everything alive. Next one. This is from Daniel Sanchez. And this is on the Grand Supremacy, who I got from Andrew, by the way. I got this set in from a guy named Andrew in Florida. Thank you so much. We're going to do a live video together. But over to the feedback that I got. So I used the PEQ file and tested a bunch of songs for a couple of hours. Overall, I feel it does improve it, especially the sub bass. The change is impressive. The sub bass is more like the IEM Maven 2. So that's and then, which has incredible bass. One thing though, I found that the bass was peaking in some songs. A preamp of -3 stopped the peaking. Now, preamp, it's really important depending on what you're using as your source, because I set everything to 0 in my preamps for the PEQ settings that I send out. I try to anyway. But you may need to tune this down. Otherwise you could get clipping. So be careful with your preamp setting. Again, I set it to 0, but you may need to bring that down. Next one, Hexa. And this is one that, you know, an IEM that is very safe, very neutral. But this is from Ollie, and he writes, "Hi, DucBloke, Ducatis, a man of culture." Maybe. Anyway, anyways, I have input both PEQ settings you sent me as Muse files on Rune and gave them a spin with the respective IEMs, A and B each with a third profile with no PEQ, just a preamp that I adjust for volume matching so as to not influence the A and B comparisons. I'm floored. I've always found the Hexa to be pretty tasteless and boring. Yeah, I did as well. Even if it is a superb timbre and resolution for the price range. Your PQ raised the low end tastefully and yet at the same time managed to open up the soundstage without really compromising on details. It's truly a remarkable little thing. It showed me you really know your way around EQ and have a stronger appreciation for one of the more meh sound sets in my collection. So he sent me a bunch of other requests, like, do you have any of these? And that's what I've been getting. And anything that I do have, I continue to share, but a lot of the stuff, you know, I don't have everything, but I'm trying. Next one, and this came from Casey, and this is for the Mega 5 EST, one of my favorite sets. He said, "Hey, thank you. I tried the first setting last night. It's wild how you can extend the soundstage with the different changes in treble area. There was one song that the cymbals literally seemed like they moved an inch left when I turned the EQ on. I'll try this next setting later today, but unfortunately, anyway, he's tried a few of my settings. He really likes it, and now he's got his eye on the Monarch Mark III as well as the Deuce. So thank you for your feedback, Casey. Next one. This is for the Monarch Mark III, and this got a lot of feedback. Again, it's one of my favorite IEMs in my collection. It's just here. Oz, thank you. The Monarch sounds amazing. Hello, they sound better than my Sony. Okay, so Oz wrote back again. So he has a few EQs, and he thanked me for this one. And thank you for being a subscriber, Oz. I really do appreciate your patronage. And then Guzman, he writes, thank you so much. Finally had a chance to try this on my Monarch Mark III and compare it EQ'd Prestige Limited. So he EQ'd his Prestige Limited as well. And I hear a lot of praise on the Prestige Limited. He said, ultimately, the Prestige Limited for me is extremely hard to beat. But your EQ for the Monarch is spot on. They slam harder than the Prestige, but the Limited has the staging and effortless clarity going for it. I highly recommend the Prestige Limited. They have similar tech to the Supremacy you recently reviewed and cost less. Be extremely interesting to see how the two compare. I would love to get my hands on a Prestige. Unfortunately, I don't have bottomless pockets of cash. But if anyone has a Prestige and they want to share it with me, happy to do a comparison against the Monarch and to do the EQ settings for it. Next one is from Jenko. He writes, thanks a lot. I really like the MM3 file. The Grand Maestro, I prefer blue model for it, but I need to test it more. Okay. The blue module is excellent on the Grand Maestro. I sent him, I prefer the black module with the switches back, but everyone has their own preference, and I sent him the PEQ settings for the Grand Maestro, and I'll wait to hear back from you, Jenko. Next one is Omar for the Monarch Mark III. Balanced and smooth. I can scale these with more volume, and it's a journey. Less mid-bass bloat, but all the texture and quality. That low treble upper mids region is perfect for me. I love forward vocals. Just very smooth. Barely any sibilance, unlike the zingy stock tuning. So yeah, I really do aim to get rid of sibilance in a lot of the PEQ settings that I do. Anyway, back to the reviews. 2 hours in, it's a contender to the, what is this? To dethrone my variations for J-pop only, haha. So thank you very much, Omar. And then Mark writes, absolutely awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Thanks so much, Duck. You're very welcome, Mark, and keep subscribing. Next is the Omega. This is probably what I would consider to be, if you have bottomless cash, the best set in my collection. So there it is right there, the Alpha Omega Omega. And somebody else who owns this set, thank you, DucBloke. I just bought the power amp equalizer. Took a while to figure it out, how to use it. Thank you for the PEQ. I don't know if it's my Omega that is having issues when I use UUD. Those are the switch settings, by the way. It becomes warmer. And that's where the setting that I like to tune the best, because it matched if you watched the Omega video. Had been the case even before your PEQ. Using your PEQ, the warmness became even clearer in the bass region. The mids, vocals, treble are perfect, crisp and clear. Maybe it's a DAP issue. I will try swapping around DAPs. Thank you again for sending the PEQ. And I think it's Cyphus, Theo Cyphus. You're very welcome. And congratulations on owning probably one of the best sets in the world, the Omega. Next one is the Origin. And this has gotten a lot of acclaim. I know HPB ranked this the top IEM of the year, and it is excellent. But this is the feedback that I've gotten from the PEQ settings. So Joey, hey man, got to spend some time with a few of these in the past couple days. Want to pay it forward with the feedback you requested. In general, just phenomenal job here. I made some listening notes. If you're curious and want to read more, ironically, they taper off as I started listening to the Origin and just got lost in the music. And then he writes here, all of these sets are transformatively better with these EQs, because I sent him a whole bunch of stuff. I hate gushing. It always feels disingenuous. I EQ all of my sets, spend good time with them. I try to get the most out of them, but you've seemingly cracked the code. Just excellent work all around. So this is, Joey, you're the type of guy I do this for, because I am an PEQ junkie. I like to get the most out of my investment. I hope everyone else does. But anyway, you can read on, but he liked this. He called it a 10 out of 10 after being an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. It jumped it up to a 10 out of 10. And then Guy wrote, wow, I'm not the most technically inclined. So how to give proper feedback, but I just got to say your tuning is incredible, laugh out loud. I guess that's what happens when you have an extremely methodical approach. I do. It takes a lot of time to tune these. Vocals, bass, treble, all seem more balanced. The Origin before PEQ would sort of muddy the vocals a bit. Yes, it does. And then, but after your settings fix that issue, I also would like to ask if I may have the Megafy EST PEQ. And by the way, I sent that to him straight away. Waiting to hear back from you, guy. And then the Performer 5+2, and this is from John. Thank you. I first tried your hydro settings. After a couple of tracks, I then changed to the Performer, and they are a revelation. Okay, so he liked the settings. On the hydro, he notes here that he had the switch settings wrong for what I did. So the correct switch settings on that were 1100, and once he did that, it fixed his hydro as well. But back to what he's written, I have long been looking at IEMs that highlight the texture and resonance of bass guitars. Thanks for your settings for the Performer. Now do that. Additionally, unsought for, but very welcome, they add a presence to drums that I previously thought was sole domain of dedicated hi-fi speakers. Wow, thank you. That's really good feedback. My Performers have been in serious danger of being relegated to the back burner in favor of the Pola Anvil bone conduction tech. In hindsight, though, the Anvil's lowest notes are felt rather than heard. With your help with the Performer's low notes are both felt and heard. Looks like the Performers are back in the running and might even be edging ahead. Well, wow. That's the whole point of this. Make the best out of your investment. Thanks again, John. This is feedback both from Key, I think he's from Korea, and this is on the Phantom. So I've got the Phantom just there. He said, that worked. Thank you so much for getting back to me so promptly. Man, your EQ is something. I can definitely say that sounds feels fuller and deeper, and some of the high frequencies that felt a tad bit harsh before is pretty much ironed out. I believe the left and right balance also feels noticeably better. I used to feel like the vocals or bass it was off center at times. Thank you again. Felt like I have unlocked the true potential of the Phantom. You're very welcome, Key. And he's written another one here. He was so happy he wrote back to me twice on Christmas Day. Next one, and this is the Pilgrim Noir. And Daniel writes, hey, the Noir adjustments worked great. Not a huge improvement compared to the Grand Supremacy, but a noticeable difference in sub bass, and the sound states seemed slightly a bit wider. Once again, though, I had clipping, so he had to down his gain to minus 0.3 or minus 3 dB, but working great, man. So you're very welcome, Daniel. I appreciate the feedback. Next one is the Shock, and Boris writes, thanks, bro. I'll check it out. I love settings for Shock, and I agree it opened it up. I tried the first one, and it balanced greatly. I wonder if you can share your PEQs for the Pen and Fan 3, which I did. And Boris, write back to me. Let me know how that went for the Fan 3. And then the last one that I'm going to show is the Supermix 4. I had 2 comments back. I think it's Janice from Greece. You know, there is this one set which is the only one I would consider buying blind for a price tag of $600. I'm not sure which one that is. So far, I have EQ'd almost every set I own in this particular set, up to 8K, and loved it. With your EQ settings, the Supermix 4 matched precisely this set. So in other words, we've taken a $150 set and it's now matching something that he has that is $600. And it matches it, and he's giving me a frequency range of 80 hertz up to, let's say, 4,000 hertz. This is more sub bass than I would EQ to, but maybe some more energy in the 4 to 8K, but the SM4 is pulling it off wonderfully. By the way, the set I am referring to is the Mega 5 EST bass. So he's finding that his Super Mix 4 is now matching his Mega 5 EST bass. Well, guess what? I'm getting the bass in, and I'm going to be EQing it, and I'm going to make this even better. So stay tuned, Giannis, because I may have a new tuning for you for the Mega 5 EST bass shortly. Next one is Lolik. Lolik writes, awesome, thanks, way better, greater bass impact, fuller note weight, much less fatiguing, prisms by, and I don't know who that is, and I don't know who that is, sound much better. I'd say it's maybe a bit too much for my genre. I'd maybe raise it just a little bit in the 1 to 5K region, so decrease the gain. Next, I'd like to reach out to all those reviewers I appreciate, starting with Mark DeVitri of the water cooler on HeadFi. Just a phenomenal person. He and I have become very close over the last year. We chat just about every day. And same thing with Eric Heiger, Dr. Eric Heiger from Headphone Honesty. He and I met at Can Jam New York for the first time, and he's come to my house a few times since when he's visited New Jersey, and we share information back and forth quite often. Excellent, excellent human. Much appreciated. Super reviews, Mark Ryan. He and I have become friends. I met him up in San Francisco as well as a couple of Can Jams. He set me up on Squiglink. Without him, this is not possible. Without that tool, I can't do what I do. So everyone needs to thank Mark Ryan that likes to do PEQs. And, you know, we share our IEMs. He sends me IEMs for me to review. I just sent him the Origin. He's got it right now. Looking forward to see if he does a review on that. And then HBB, Chris, thank you for believing in me. He was one of my early subscribers, and he follows the channel, and he gave me a shout out. And equally to you, even though my subscriber base is nowhere near as big as his, but thank you so much for all your support, Chris. Really enjoy working with you. I'll hopefully visit you in Japan. Matthew, Bloom Audio, probably the nicest guy in the industry. Super nice. Met him at Cam Jam, and we've become friends over the last few months. And really nice guy in New Jersey, works for Bloom Audio, does great reviews. Just a super nice kid. I'd like to say kid because he's a little bit younger than me, but just the nicest person you'd want to meet. And then Jadis, it was an absolute pleasure meeting you. I look forward to growing the relationship. Hopefully you can come to Can Jam New York in March. And then Tone Deaf Monk, look forward to meeting you in person. Have not yet, but we've interacted online on Facebook, and I know you follow what I'm doing on YouTube, so much appreciated. Follow you as well. And then special thanks out to Sandeep in India, who started Audio Geek Brotherhood of the Audiophiles, without whom I wouldn't get sets like this in a $4,500 set I just did a review on. A lot of the great stuff that comes across my desk comes from this tour group. So much appreciated, Sandeep. Thanks for your leadership in that group globally. Next, the brands that I appreciate. High Senior, Gareth. What a phenomenal guy. He's just good people. And I got to know Gareth when I bought the Mega 5 EST a year ago. And I reached out to HVB. I reached out to Mark Ryan. I said, hey, look, this is a great IEM. Do you guys want me to put you in touch with Gareth? Get this into your hands. And they said, yeah, let's give it a shot. So Gareth, much appreciated for believing in me believing in my ears. Anyway, and I look forward to growing our relationship in 2025. Fat Freak, Ivan, Desi, Yo, great people. Hung out with you guys at Can Jam. I have the Grand Maestros. I also have the Deuce, and Ben wrote me a nice love letter when I bought the Deuce, or sorry, when I bought the Grand Maestro, and much appreciated all the support I've gotten from Fat Freak as well. Alpha Omega, Clement, what a great tuner, what a great guy. He's in on the island of Borneo, in East Malaysia, in a town called Kuching. I have been there. I look forward to going back. If I do, I'm going to meet up with you, Clement, maybe at Can Jam Singapore if you're there. I might go in April. And then Pennon, out of Hong Kong, Mr. Chai, amazing guy. The relationship with him and Sandeep is deep, and we get a lot of the IEMs on tour from Pennon as a result. And I really do appreciate what you do there as well. And then Music Tech, Andrew and Leo, 20 minutes from my house. Thanks for believing in me and for lending me IEMs and for giving me great deals on stuff so that I can get it into my collection and do what I do and get it out to the community. So again, if you get a chance to go to Can Jam, please pop in, see Andrew, see Leo, both wonderful people. And then Bloom Audio, of course, in the same state of New Jersey, except the other end. They're all a class act. They are phenomenal people. And with that, this is what I think is the best deal IEM on the market in 2024. It is the Alpha Omega Ra. Just did a review on it. There are better sounding IEMs, not by much, and this one only costs $700. So if you get a chance to try this out, do so. I think it'll blow you away. It fits really well. It's a star in my collection. I really do enjoy owning this IEM, and I look forward to your comments and feedback regarding this as well. And with that, I'd like to close out the year by saying thank you so much. I've only kicked off for the last 3 months. It's been a great 3 months. I'm up to 750 subscribers. The channel is growing. The belief is growing. And I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed already, do so now. Subscribe. Hit the like button. Give me a comment. Let's start interacting. And let's grow this community of PEQ lovers. And with that, Happy New Year. DucBloke out. GoPro, turn off. GoPro, stop recording. Thank you for visiting DucBloke Tuning and finding the sweet spot. Your comments are very much appreciated. I'll try to respond as quickly as possible. Share the PEQ settings with you if you own these particular IEMs or if you plan on purchasing them to maximize your investment. Again, thank you so much for supporting the project.